now, Rachel. So Rachelle Cooper Kulkarni is the founder of Sustainify AU. So Rachelle is a strategic thinker and problem solver, bringing these skills to creating sustainable outcomes for businesses and communities. Rachelle, over to you.
Beautiful. I just wanted to say I really resonated with what both Scott and Paul said in terms of conclusions and what we need to do to deliver things right for regions. So I actually grew up in a region on the Riverland in South Australia, but I've spent a lot of my life since in cities in Australia and around the world. And it's been really great recently getting back into the regional side of things. So I think that's often what's left behind. So yes, I'm the founder of Sustainify Australia, but I'm here today talking to you with a different hat on. So I'm also undertaking a Master's in Sustainability and Adaptation, and that's with the Centre for Alternative Technology, which is a university based in the UK. And my research is focused on the energy transition. And actually, drawing back to what you were saying before around climate impacts, I had a slightly different research topic. If you happen to attend All Energy and hear me speak there, I was going to be working with the far north of Queensland, and unfortunately, we had a cyclone or two come through very recently. So that topic became unviable, and I was really lucky to meet some others in this field that had a suitable topic that I could work with. So why energy? You've probably already got a great understanding of that by now, but energy constitutes around 75% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And energy really is at the heart of kind of a lot of emissions across sectors. So if you look at transport, you look at agriculture, energy is a big part of that. So, my research is focused in Queensland region, and what you can see there is a Queensland Energy and Jobs Plan, which you may be familiar with. So, obviously there's a big focus to roll out a lot of large-scale renewable energy, and we've got the main 2 hydropower plants there as well. The backbone of Queensland's plan focuses around renewable energy zones. And so my focus is the Southern Queensland res, and we actually have 3 renewable energy zones right in the regions that we're researching. So I was lucky enough to come across the Shape Your Energy Future program, and that's a program that's being co-coordinated by the Australian Rural Leadership Foundation and the Queensland Conservation Council. And this just all coalesced with what I was researching. So if you look across the industry reports and all of the academic literature, I've got around 200 articles I'm working my way through, but also my previous experience, I worked in the Department for Energy and Mining in South Australia. Everything focuses around techno-solutionism. And while that's a great part of what we need to deliver decarbonisation and the energy transition, we can't forget about people and the more holistic factors. So I'm really focused on the whole piece of the puzzle, so looking at the political, social, economic, environmental, cultural, and the technological. Okay. So you can see a bit about the program there and what they're aiming to achieve. They were also really lucky to get funded by Boundless Earth, so it's a really collaborative program that's being delivered. So last week, this is all really fresh, I spent last week in the Bunya Mountains with a group of around 20 participants. We've got one in the audience with us today. You can go and quiz him after. And we had an intensive week of workshops, of learning around the energy transition in the region. And we had a great mix of people there, from some decision makers actually. We had councillors, we had landholders, we had people, developers, as well as people who are just working in energy generally. And it was really exciting. So we had our intensive week last week. There's around 8 weeks left of virtual sessions where we're continuing to work together. And my research has been part of that program, so I'm a participant and also a co-facilitator with the research process part of this. And what I've decided to do was participatory systems mapping. So you may be familiar with AEMO's integrated systems plan. That's all based on quantitative modelling around forecast generation and supply for energy. This is phenomenally different to that. So this uses people as the data points, and it says these people know their community best. And what we do is go through a series of workshops to understand the different factors and what's going on in their region. And the idea of participatory system mapping is that it's meant to empower the community with a shared understanding and the knowledge to make effective change in their region. And there's another reason I chose this. So I've reviewed all different system methodologies and research in energy. And there's very few examples of energy system mapping, but even more so, there's one that I can find that uses PSM in energy, and that's in the UK. So this is really pioneering research, and as is the program. So the ARLF have run many programs on leadership in general, but this is the first one focused on energy, so it's really exciting. Okay, what did we discuss? So we had a series of workshops, and what we did was asking questions. We really wanted to understand what are the different factors and variables that are affecting the region, and particularly the energy transition. So we identified these things that can change, and then also the relationships between them, so that we could understand how policy would play out into their daily lives, into housing, into all number of different factors. And we started this with two key factors at the heart of it. So this was developed by the group as the things that were important and central to them. So we had thriving regional communities, and we did a bit of debate around what that means, but you can generally understand. And the other one was the extent to which the transition is community driven or not. So we heard before, there was a lot of discussion around them feeling like the energy transition is something that's being planned by government, or that developers are coming in to them and to their land or their neighbours' land, and it's being imposed on them. And there's a real sense of wanting to be able to influence that or even drive it for the greater good. So some of the key factors that came up while we were there were the community benefits, both in terms of benefits directly for landholders as well as more broadly in the community, and whether these were short-term benefits, long-term benefits, there's definitely this sense of wanting to get something out of it and wanting to influence the transition. And some of the other key things that came up were this lack of information, particularly for landholders, trying to negotiate with developers around contracts, or just trying to understand how they can best take advantage of this transition. There was this real need for and desire for credible, accessible information. Now, this is all very, very live, so there's a lot more factors there to kind of go through, but I think those are the key ones, as well as what we've heard here on the panel thus far. So, I'm doing a lot of work in the background as a researcher. This is an example of what a finalised system map looks like. So I've been working through hundreds of different variables that were raised by the group and distilling those down into the key ones. And then this is a very reflective and ongoing cycle, so it's using participatory action research. So I'll be working with the group over the next few weeks to refine that and produce a system map. I'm producing my dissertation report by the end of May, and then we're hoping to distill that into accessible industry reports and insights that can be shared more broadly. But most importantly, the group last week did brainstorming around different projects and initiatives that they can do in their region to shape the energy transition. And so we had a group of around 10 different projects. And to honour the process that they're going through at the moment, I don't want to give too many details, but we had things ranging from, just impactful actions within a very small group of people through to massive scale changes to policy and the landscape across Queensland. So there's some really great ideas that are coming out and being worked on. And yeah, if you'd like to talk to me more about that, or if you'd like to get in contact with the people in that region who are doing this work, just come and talk to me afterwards.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rachel. That was really, really interesting to hear such an effective way of engaging with communities. Really brilliant.